Hey everybody, it's George Whittam reporting for Whittam's World, and here I am for my first in-depth equipment review for the year for 2017. This product's been sitting around here for a little while, and it's a beast. I've been wanting to give it its due, and that's why it's taken a little while for me to get to this one. Without further ado, it's the RME Babyface Pro. This is their latest edition in a portable but no compromise audio interface from RME. And this thing is really impressive. Well, I don't usually do unboxings, but this one has such a nice packaging. It's such a professional package. I just thought I should show it to you. So here's the package that this thing comes in. It's a beaut. Not only does it really look pretty on the outside, but it comes with a proper storage slash road box or road case that you can travel with this thing and not worry about it getting damaged. The actual product itself, which comes in a protective sleeve. This thing is a beautiful piece of industrial engineering, machined out of like one big piece of aluminum. You can see this whole top section is all one piece of aluminum. It's really just no holds barred build quality all out. Going all the way around the unit, you've got your USB. It is a USB interface. You have a DC input, which is optional. You don't have to use it, and it does not include a power supply. It's got a MIDI breakout cable. It's got a optical input and output, which can give you 8 channels of in and out or stereo for more inputs. It's got your headphones, both 1/4 and 1/8 inch mini. It's got an extra pair of line inputs on the side here for those that just want to use it as an AD converter. And on back, the business end of the unit, we've got XLRs in and out for microphone level input, which can also be doubling as line level, and our line, actually these are the outputs, these are the inputs. Let's just look at the rest of what's in here. You've got the included USB cable, which, they want to do things a little bit nicer than everybody else. So instead of a regular USB cable, it's a right angle USB cable, which fits into the unit really, really snugly. You can probably use a regular USB cable, but if you use theirs, it's way more secure because of the way the unit is cut and countersunk to fit into the device. I mean, details, attention to detail, that is what these guys are all about. And then this is unnecessary for you folks in the VO world, but a MIDI breakout cable. It's an actual MIDI interface. Remember those things? Let's get this box out of the way and get this thing hooked up. The other thing that comes in the box is an actual real quality user manual in German and in English. And what's even more surprising in this day and age, a driver CD-ROM, an actual CD-ROM. You never see these anymore. But do note that it says, use only when unable to download the latest drivers from rme.to/USB-E. So they're telling you you should really be installing the drivers off the web, which any product that comes with a CD, you really should install the drivers off the web because those are going to be the most up-to-date. So I've got Total Mix loaded. It's on the system. So let me go plug this thing in and see if we can get it to fire up here. This USB included cable is a little on the short side. I'm going to plug it into a USB hub. It's a powered USB hub. Arguably, it's probably not the greatest idea to plug it into a hub, but it's a powered USB hub. Let's give you a little bit of a tour of the RME Total Mix Effects interface. So the top row are the hardware inputs. The middle row are software playback controls. And the bottom row is hardware outputs. And these top 2 rows feed what you see on the bottom row. So it's a pretty logical flow as to how it's all laid out. You can make this a little bit smaller. Over here we have snapshots, so if there's more than one configuration that you find useful, you can recall different snapshots. You can change the layout and recall layout presets if you have different ways you like the screen to be viewed. But one thing that totally sets the RME total mix system apart from many of the other recording interfaces that have control panels like this is the ability to create a loopback that feeds whatever comes out of the system back into channels 1 and 2. So to do that, you go to an output pair like analog 1 and 2. You click on the little tool, and inside here you have this magic loopback button. Booyah! So basically what happens is anything that's playing out of analog 1 and 2, which is what you're hearing in your monitors, is routed back into the system and becomes now an input available to be recorded. So what's that mean to you? Skype playback is a reality. Yes, you can now play back from a DAW and have that audio route itself back into Skype. That to me is one of the killer apps, or rather killer features, of the RME Babyface Pro. Other than the fact that it has extremely high quality preamps, really, really good solid drivers. But the bottom line is the hardware is stellar, the sound quality is stellar. The user interface, while it may look a little daunting at first, is really logical and easy to understand to those who know audio software. And if you're not one of those people, I'm someone that can help you set it up to get the most out of it. But a quick little tour again, after showing you the loopback feature. Let's go back to analog 1. This is probably the channel where your mic's going to be plugged in. So here's where we have our gain control. Here's where we turn on the phantom power. Pad can be engaged, which is an actual relay inside the unit. I can hear it click when I turn it on and off, which is pretty sweet. Phase control, which really only matters if you're recording stereo mics. That's all controlled from here. But you do also have an EQ, which is sweet. One really helpful part of the EQ to me is the low cut, which you can set at a very high 24 dB per octave slope and dial in exactly where you want this thing to start rolling off to taking out the boominess and the rumble of your typical home studio booth, which tends to be pretty boomy, rumbly places. So that's a really sweet feature right there. And then if you have a little bit of an EQ tweak you want to do to maybe tune out a little bit of a resonance in your room, or maybe just shape the EQ of your mic a little bit, it's right here. You can have this EQ available to you. Just remember that if you want that EQ to be recorded, you've got to have EQ for record turned on in the Babyface USB settings panel. And that will make sure that is actually in the signal chain when you're recording. So it's a great interface. It makes a lot of sense, but all of this doesn't matter unless it can actually perform. So let's plug in a mic and see what we get. Got to go over to the tech shelf to find some cables here. All right, let's plug a microphone into this little guy. Voila. One, two, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Hey now, hey now. There we go. We got levels. Beauteous. Okay. So now we've got levels coming in. Let's go ahead and tell my recording software of choice, Twisted Wave. And if you guys haven't caught on already, this thing is compatible with Mac and Windows, by the way. So, and iPad. If you were on a Skype session, you wanted to send that audio back to somebody, then you would turn on loopback mode. So we'll stop recording, and let's say that person on your Skype patch wants to hear your playback. Let's give it a shot. Let's go ahead and open Skype. And let's emulate or simulate what it would be like if you were playing back on Skype. So in Skype, you have to make sure you have your Skype microphone and speakers set to the Babyface. You want to make sure your DAW software, in this case Twisted Wave, has its input set to Babyface and output also Babyface. Do not have playthrough when recording turned on. Hit record. Here we go. Now we're recording off of the mic, which is laying over here on my desk. Let me pick that up. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 1, 2. There we go. And let's go ahead and stop and let's start a Skype call as though we were doing an actual session.
Welcome to Skype call testing service. After the beep, please record a message. Afterwards, your message will be played back to you.
Okay, so I'm recording myself talking I'm recording myself talking, and now I'm going to play back what I just recorded for the loopback test. Recording myself talking, and now I'm going to play back what I just recorded for the loopback test. Recording myself talking.
If you are able to hear your own...
There you go. So right at the end there, you could hear my playback actually hitting Skype and coming right back through the line. So super sweet that you can just punch loopback on your analog output 1 and 2 and immediately have the ability to play back. And it interrupts the loop so that there's no looping feedback signal issues if you're still recording. So basically, it's a no-brainer. The Babyface falls into an interesting sort of middle ground between the really, I think, very basic functionality of, say, the Apogee Duet, which is very similar in size and also in price, but it has no DSP. The Apogee Duet does have a limiter, which is actually pretty nice. This does not. But where this picks up where the Apogee Duet leaves off is this has equalizing, and it also has a very sophisticated input and hardware routing system, which allows you to route signal from many different inputs and playback software outputs into different headphone, speaker, and different sources in your studio. Is it more than what most voice actors would probably need? Yeah, I would say yes. But if you're in that market, in that $600 plus range, where you really want to have a no compromise interface, amazing preamps, very flexible audio routing, again, that ability to have equalizing control or tone control on your signal, this thing might be something you want to consider. And the fact that it can work on an iPad is just a pretty cool bonus. And this RME Total Mix system is they now have a version of this software that works on the iPad. So pretty killer piece of kit. Well, thanks for watching. This has been George reporting for Whittam's World with a review of the RME Babyface Pro. Thanks to B&H for sending this to me for the demo. I really appreciate it. Almost everything I get the demo here on Whittam's World is provided by B&H, so I really appreciate it, you guys. It's really helpful. If you guys have an idea for a product that you'd like to see reviewed, let me know. Send me an email at whittamsworld@edgestudio.com or leave a comment below right here on the YouTube video, and I'll see if I can get it. Check in with B&H, say, hey, I want to get XYZ and demo on the show. It's been requested. If you have tech support needs, visit edgestudiotechnology.com, where we've got all different ways to help you, from creating stacks to on-demand support and everything in between. Follow me on Whittam's World's Facebook page as well, and keep abreast of what's going on, where I will occasionally do Facebook Live videos. This has been George for Whittam's World, and I will see you guys on the next video. Take care.